This state flower has 150 different species and thousands of cultivars. But before we get too far into the story, hey, I'm Ashley with Meadow Mountain, and I take state flowers and create designs that look like this. And sometimes I tell you the story about the state flower too. So today we're going to talk about the rose and New York. On April 20th, 1955, the rose officially became the state flower of New York State. They chose it because not only does the rose grow in urban settings like New York City, but also in rural settings like upstate New York and the Adirondacks. But the story behind this starts quite a few years earlier. In 1890, they asked the schoolchildren to vote on 3 different flowers to become the state flower for New York. They were the goldenrod, the rose, and the daisy. Well, the goldenrod won. Not by much. It was a pretty close one. So it went goldenrod, then rose, then daisy. So the next year in 1891, they only put two flowers on the poll, and it was goldenrod and rose, and the rose won by a landslide. But the interesting thing about the rose being the state flower of New York is it's not a specific rose. It is all roses. It's just a rosa, which is the genus name for the species of rose. So it can be any color, it can be any style, it can be a climbing rose or a hybrid tea that smells lovely. And they really like that because the state is such a diverse state. They wanted to represent everyone. So to those in New York, the rose represents resilience because it can grow anywhere. Diversity, because it can be any color of the rainbow, and love, because that's what roses have come to be known as, right? The saying, stop and smell the roses, is a pretty good saying, I think, because often they smell so wonderful. The next time you see a rose, whether you're in upstate New York or New York City, why don't you stop, give it a sniff, and see why those school children chose the rose to be the New York state flower all those many years ago. See you next time.